Have you ever wondered what's really happening under your mulch? Beneath those layers of soil and organic matter, there's a quiet war going on, a battle for moisture, nutrients and life. Two humble waste materials, rice husk and sawdust, might look ordinary on the surface, but the moment you spread them across your garden, they summon a hidden army of earthworms and microbes that can either supercharge your vegetable growth or slow it down. Today, we're diving deep to see which one truly brings your vegetables to life, which one calls the worms faster, and which one grows those thick, juicy, brag-worthy vegetables you dream of. Mulch is more than just a pretty blanket over your soil. It's your garden's moisture guard, weed blocker and temperature regulator. But not all mulches are created equal. Some retain moisture better, some feed the soil faster, and some, unfortunately, rob it of nutrients. Rice husk and sawdust both come from agricultural waste, which makes them eco-friendly and inexpensive. But how they behave in your garden couldn't be more different. Or the light, airy power of rice husk. Rice husk is the outer shell of rice grains, light, porous and full of microscopic air pockets. It doesn't compact easily, which means oxygen can move freely through the soil. This is a big deal for worms. Earthworms love loose, moist, oxygen-rich environments, and rice husk provides the perfect habitat. Once worms move in, they start digesting the mulch and soil, leaving behind nutrient-rich castings that act like a slow-release fertilizer. When that happens, you'll see the difference above ground. Plants grow deeper roots, produce lush green leaves, and develop thicker stems. Vegetables seem to double in size faster than expected because the soil beneath is alive and constantly improving. Now, sawdust, however, plays by different rules. It's pretty high in carbon but very low in nitrogen, and when it's fresh, it can actually borrow nitrogen from the soil as it breaks down. That, in turn, can end up starving your plants of one of their most important growth nutrients. If you've ever noticed slow or maybe even pale growth under sawdust mulch, well, that's usually the reason. But, you know, sawdust isn't the villain many folks think it is. Once it's composted or blended with nitrogen-rich material, sawdust transforms into a moisture-holding, long-lasting mulch that conditions your soil beautifully. It's really like turning waste wood into a slow-feeding organic sponge for your garden. And honestly, the secret just lies in proper preparation. Now, if you're using fresh sawdust, the best approach is to mix it 1-to-1 with finished compost by volume. For every 10 litres of sawdust, simply add 10 litres of compost and 1 litre of water, just enough so the mixture feels damp but not soggy. This little step helps balance the carbon-to-nitrogen ratio, making sure your plants don't suffer, you know. If you'd prefer to compost your sawdust ahead of time, blend 3 parts sawdust with 1 part fresh green matter, such as grass clippings or vegetable scraps. Keep the mixture moist, like a wrung-out sponge, and give it a good turn every week. After about 6 to 8 weeks, it should have an earthy smell and crumble easily in your hands. That's when you know it's ready to work wonders in your garden. For this test, you'll want to prepare 2 identical garden beds, each planted with the same vegetable. Tomatoes or zucchinis are both perfect choices. Water both beds deeply before applying mulch so moisture reaches the roots. Spread each mulch in an even 3 centimetre layer across the soil, keeping it 5 centimetres away from plant stems to prevent rot. For rice husk, you can spread it directly and lightly water afterward, about 1 litre of water per square metre, to help it settle and resist wind. For sawdust, use your composted or mixed version and water it after spreading, again about 1 litre of water per square metre. This ensures the mulch forms contact with the soil and begins its slow, steady work of retaining moisture. Let's get practical. For a 10 square metre garden bed, a 3 centimetre layer of mulch requires roughly 0.3 cubic metres or 300 litres. That's around 3 large wheelbarrows. For a 4 by 8 foot raised bed, you'll need about 0.09 cubic metres or 90 litres, which is roughly 1.5 wheelbarrows. If you're using the 1-to-1 sawdust and compost blend, just double the volume. Half sawdust and half compost. Always remember, mulch is measured by volume, not weight, since it varies in density. Over the first few weeks, you'll notice the difference. In the rice husk bed, the soil feels looser, cooler and alive with movement. Dig just a few inches down, and you'll likely spot worms already at work. The plants above respond with richer colour and faster growth. In the sawdust bed, the story depends on how well it was prepared. Fresh sawdust slows growth at first, while composted sawdust performs steadily and builds long-term soil fertility. As it breaks down, it forms humus, a dark, crumbly material that retains nutrients and moisture beautifully for future crops. Worms are nature's soil engineers, and, well, their preferences tell us a lot. They tend to move faster into rice husk because of its open texture and gentle moisture retention. It's almost like a breathable bed for them, rich in air and comfort. Sawdust draws worms too, but, a bit more slowly, as it takes longer to soften and decompose. Over time, though, both materials really do become worm magnets if the moisture levels stay just right. When worms are active, you'll notice improved soil structure, easier watering, and, honestly, healthier root zones. Their castings are packed with plant-available nutrients, boosting growth naturally, no synthetic fertilizers needed. So, which one really grows bigger vegetables? Well, for quick moisture control and early growth, rice husk takes the crown. It keeps the soil airy and cool, encourages worm activity, and, promotes faster, greener growth. But for long-term soil enrichment, composted sawdust quietly builds up organic matter and creates rich, fertile soil that honestly pays off in the following seasons. The smartest gardeners use both: rice husk for immediate results and sawdust compost for soil-building depth. Together, they form the perfect duo for vegetable gardens that keep improving year after year. Both rice husk and sawdust mulch can transform your garden when handled correctly. The key is understanding their personalities. Rice husk is the fast-acting moisture saver that summons worms quickly. Sawdust, when composted, is the slow, steady builder that gives your soil lasting strength. Respect their nature, apply the right ratios, and let time and worms do the rest. If you loved this deep dive into soil secrets and you're ready to grow bigger, healthier vegetables while recycling natural waste, don't forget to subscribe to Timeless Crops Haven. Hit that like button and share this video with your gardening friends. Stay tuned for more timeless tips that help your garden thrive all year round.